The topic of my photo set is the vast and intricate transport system in Brisbane, and its constant presence both in the cityscape and in our lives as residents. Without these systems, life within the city would be vastly different. They are arterial, moving people and keeping the city alive. Whether it be during a day or night, from work, a night out, or at home, there is always something to be observed when taking public transport, even if one subconsciously takes it in. I would like my photo set to highlight the journey and capture the everyday, yet not always noticed beauty. My viewing audience will be people who use Brisbane's transport systems, as they will relate best to the locations and the content of the photos. From the photos, my audience will know that within a city, specifically Brisbane, the ability to travel on public transport is ingrained in our lifestyles, which exudes an air of importance for something we mostly take for granted. In our society, especially with the emergence of social medias and mobile devices, which have disconnected and individualized the way we communicate, people do not usually observe their immediate environment. I hope that after viewing my photo set, my audience will feel some sort of recognition of the interconnectedness of a city and its inhabitants as they share certain experiences. I want them to know that the city is always moving, as the people are always moving with it. Certain elements of visual language were used to emphasize this. First, I used low-angled shots to create an unusual viewpoint and to emphasize the observation of the mundane. I shot some photos on a low-light setting which created a warm orange glow, inviting the audience to respond positively to the images. I have also experimented with slow shutters to replicate movement and show time passing, furthering the idea that the systems are an intrinsic everyday part of the city. To refine my photo set, I would like to take more photos during the day, as many of my current photos are based around the night system. This would improve the reliability of my story, fill the gaps, and show different aspects. Whilst night shots made for interesting images, many of the images were either noisy or blurry. As I didn't have a tripod, I was forced to use a setting on the camera which was supposed to stabilize low-light photos, which mostly did that. However, it also gave the photos a similar color tone, which is something that may cause me to reshoot some of the photos for the final assessment. Capturing image whilst on transport also posed an issue, as the light was constantly changing and moving. However, this can be overcome by constant observation and waiting until the light is right. I also had trouble capturing people on transport who often shied away from the camera or looked directly at it, which prevented my shots from looking candid. However, with a little confidence, this can be overcome by simply letting them know. Likewise, I would like to have more people in some of my photos, perhaps focusing on peak time to communicate the sheer number of people experiencing what is represented within my photos. The success of this project is heavily relied on my own observation of my immediate environment and being in the right place at the right time. Already, I have spent a lot of time travelling on trains and buses, as well as walking around the city. However, I plan to extend my observation and photograph sets to include ferries and perhaps more pedestrian life, to conclude with a variety of interesting, thoughtful images.